Imagine waking up one morning to find out that the country you plan to move to, maybe even retire in, has just banned you. That's exactly what's happening to British citizens in 2025. In a wave nobody saw coming, 10 of the world's most desirable countries have suddenly shut their doors to Brits. Not quietly either. We're talking about new laws, mass visa rejections, even forced deportations. For years, British expats were welcomed, building lives, starting businesses, settling in paradise. Now, they're being shown the exit, sometimes with just weeks to pack up and leave. Why the sudden hostility? It's bigger than personal politics. It's about old grievances, shifting power, and nations demanding a different future. From Room Asia to the Americas, from sunny beaches to booming cities, the message is the same. It's not your home anymore. Today, we're breaking down the 10 countries that just slammed the door on British immigrants. And trust me, some of these names will leave you speechless. Let's get into it. Number 10, Spain. In February 2025, Spain introduced major changes that hit British immigrants hard, especially retirees and remote workers. After years of tension over post-Brexit residency rules, Spain officially tightened its requirements for British nationals applying for long-term visas like the non-lucrative visa and digital nomad visa. What changed? Now, Brits must prove higher minimum incomes, nearly 40% more than before, to qualify for residency. For retirees, this means showing bank statements that guarantee financial independence well above the Spanish national average. For remote workers, additional documents like foreign employer contracts and international tax compliance papers became mandatory. And worse, many regional governments like Valencia and Andalusia added local health insurance requirements and housing ownership proofs, effectively making casual relocation unaffordable for most middle-class Brits. Those already living in Spain weren't spared either. Thousands were called in for random checks to prove they still met the new standards, or risked losing their residency cards. The Spanish government framed the change as a move toward economic sustainability and national fairness, especially amid a housing affordability crisis blamed partly on foreign residents. For many Brits dreaming of sunny Spanish coastlines, 2025 has made that dream much harder, if not impossible. Number 9, Portugal. In March 2025, Portugal delivered a major blow to British immigrants by ending one of their most popular pathways to residency, the Golden Visa programme. The Golden Visa, which once allowed Brits to gain residency by investing in Portuguese real estate, officially shut down for most property investments as of March 2025. What does that mean? Buying a house or apartment no longer gets you fast-tracked residency, nor Brits must qualify through much stricter routes, like starting a business that creates local jobs or investing heavily in scientific research. The Portuguese government cited rising property prices and housing shortages as the reasons behind the move, arguing that the Golden Visa had priced locals out of their own cities, especially in Lisbon, Porto, and the Algarve. For British retirees and investors who had poured savings into Portugal hoping for an easy escape post-Brexit, the news hit hard. Ongoing applications were frozen, and new applicants must now meet far higher barriers. Even digital nomad visa rules tightened, requiring higher monthly income proofs, Portuguese tax registration, and stricter background checks, hurdles many casual remote workers weren't prepared for. Portugal once symbolised a soft landing for Brits looking for sunny beaches and relaxed lifestyles. Now in 2025, it's become a far steeper climb. Number 7, United Arab Emirates. In April 2025, the United Arab Emirates made headlines by introducing sweeping new restrictions on foreign workers, and British nationals found themselves right in the crossfire. Under the new Emiratization Priority Act, in force starting April 15, 2025, companies across key sectors like finance, real estate, and tech are now required to prove they have made every effort to hire Emirati citizens before considering foreigners. And while the policy affects all expats, reports show that British professionals, once heavily favoured in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, are among the hardest hit. Any work permits for British nationals have dropped by over 35% compared to last year, and many existing contracts are simply not being renewed, even freelance visas, a popular option for Brits working remotely or consulting, are being quietly phased out through higher costs and tougher renewal standards. The UAE government says the shift is about boosting national employment and reducing reliance on Western professionals. But for many British expats who once built entire careers in the Gulf, it feels like the golden era has ended overnight. The message is clear. In the new UAE, local talent comes first, and foreigners, no matter how qualified, are no longer guaranteed a seat at the table. Number 6. Germany. In February 2025, Germany tightened the screws on British immigration by introducing new labour market restrictions under its updated Skilled Immigration Act. Enforced as of February 12, 2025, British citizens could relatively easily move to Germany for work thanks to post-Brexit agreements that kept doors partially open when it's a whole different story. Under the new law, UK nationals must secure a formal government-approved job offer before even applying for a visa. No more landing in Germany and looking for work afterward. Even more, the German Federal Employment Agency now prioritizes candidates from within the EU, meaning British applicants are automatically ranked lower unless they bring rare, high-demand skills. Landed requirements have also gotten stricter. Applicants must now show proof of B1 level German fluency for most job sectors, something many Brits didn't previously need. For British students hoping to transition into work after university in Germany, the hurdles have also risen. They now face higher salary thresholds and shorter grace periods after graduation to find a job. Germany says the changes are meant to protect the integrity of the European labour market. But for Brits hoping to build a future in Berlin, Munich or Frankfurt, it feels like the welcome mat has been yanked away. Number 5. New Zealand. In March 2025, New Zealand officially made immigration tougher for British citizens by overhauling its points-based visa system, a move that quietly locked thousands out. The changes, which came into effect on March 1, 2025, raised the minimum points threshold for skilled migrant visas and added new priority categories that favour applicants from the Pacific Islands and Southeast Asia. For British applicants, it's now much harder to qualify unless they have extremely high demand skills like specialised healthcare, advanced engineering or agricultural sciences. Even those with job offers must now prove higher minimum salaries, sometimes nearly double the previous standards to meet visa conditions. And that's not all. New Zealand also introduced mandatory settlement funds for British applicants, requiring proof of tens of thousands of dollars in savings before entry is approved. The Kiwi government framed the move as a way to diversify talent pools and address historic imbalances. Feel-like way of saying that traditional source countries like the UK have had an advantage for too long. For Brits dreaming of a relaxed life amid stunning landscapes, 2025 turned into a sobering wake-up call. New Zealand still wants immigrants, just not the same ones it always welcomed before. Number 4. Ireland. In January 2025, Ireland, one of Britain's closest neighbours, introduced new immigration controls that made moving across the Irish Sea much harder for British nationals. The Immigration Reform Bill, passed on January 10, 2025, ended automatic rights for British citizens to live and work in Ireland without detailed immigration checks, a privilege they had enjoyed under the Common Travel Area agreements for decades. Now, British nationals must apply through standard immigration channels if they plan to stay longer than 90 days. That includes work permits, residency authorisations, and in some cases, financial proof of self-sufficiency. Why the sudden change? Irish lawmakers cited post-Brexit regulatory misalignments and border management needs as key reasons. But analysts say growing pressure from the EU to harmonise rules and frustration over British policy unpredictability played an even bigger role. For thousands of Brits who once saw Ireland as an easy, natural backup plan after Brexit, 2025 brought a harsh reality. You're no longer the exception. Ireland isn't closing the door completely, but it's making sure that door now has locks, paperwork, and plenty of questions. Number 3. Singapore. In February 2025, Singapore tightened its immigration policies again, and this time British professionals found themselves among the biggest casualties. On February 22, 2025, Singapore's Ministry of Manpower officially raised the qualifying salary thresholds for the Employment Pass, EP, to CG 6,500 per month, a sharp jump that instantly priced out thousands of mid-level foreign workers, including many Brits. And it wasn't just about salaries. The new rules also introduced sector-specific benchmarks, meaning applicants in finance, tech and law must meet even higher income standards to qualify. Singapore also ramped up enforcement of its fair consideration framework, requiring companies to prove they tried and failed to hire local Singaporeans before offering a job to any foreigner. For British experts, many of whom had long dominated sectors like banking, media and consultancy, it's now a much steeper climb just to get a work permit approved. Even existing EP holders are feeling the squeeze. Renewals are no longer automatic, and stricter audits mean that many Brits working in Singapore today could be forced to leave when their permits expire. Singapore says it's about protecting local jobs and promoting homegrown talent. For British citizens, 2025 feels like the end of an era in one of Asia's most sought-after destinations. Number 2. India. In April 2025, India delivered a major immigration shake-up that stunned British citizens around the world. Effective April 8, 2025, new rules came into force that made it significantly harder for UK nationals to move, work or study in the country. Once seen as a vibrant destination where British companies, retirees and students could plant new roots with relative ease, India has now raised the drawbridge. British applicants must now go through far stricter procedures than ever before. It's no longer enough to simply land a job or get accepted into a university. Applicants are required to submit extensive financial records covering multiple years, proving not just personal wealth, but also long-term financial stability. And it doesn't stop there. Cultural integration has become a new legal requirement. Brits applying for long-term visas must now demonstrate knowledge of Indian laws, history, and in many cases pass basic language proficiency tests in Hindi or the official regional language of their chosen destination. The shift isn't random. Indian officials made it clear this was a reciprocal adjustment, a direct response to the long-standing visa difficulties Indian citizens face when trying to move to the UK, long processing times to stiff financial thresholds. Indian applicants have long felt disadvantaged, and now Britain is being made to walk that same rocky road. Even the education sector, once a strong bridge between the two nations, is feeling the sting. British students now have to provide proof of substantial scholarship funding or financial sponsorship to secure study visas, something that many casual applicants simply can't meet. For British entrepreneurs eyeing the booming tech hubs of Bengaluru or Hyderabad, and for retirees dreaming of peaceful lives in Goa or Kerala, the 2025 changes represent a major barrier. It's not an outright ban, but it's a loud, unmistakable message. India demands fairness, respect, and genuine commitment, not old assumptions of easy access. For many Brits, the age of effortless immigration to India is officially over. Number 1, United States. In May 2025, the United States delivered a decisive blow to British immigrants. And this time, it wasn't just more paperwork or minor delays, it was a fundamental shift. On May 2025, a new immigration directive officially reclassified the United Kingdom as a Tier 2 risk management country. While the title sounds diplomatic, the reality is far harsher. Tier 1. British citizens are now facing some of the toughest visa scrutiny seen in decades. Every major visa route, work permits, student visas, entrepreneurial entry has been hit with sweeping new conditions. British applicants must now pass enhanced security screenings, submit detailed employment histories going back 10 years, and prove deeper ties to the UK to ensure they intend to return home. Even more startling, the popular E2 investor visa, a long-time favourite for Brits starting businesses in the US, was quietly suspended for new applicants from the UK without warning. Hundreds of British entrepreneurs found their dreams frozen overnight. Businesses stalled before they could even launch. The US government cited concerns about data privacy gaps, post-Brexit, and unbalanced visa reciprocity as reasons for the crackdown. In private, analysts say it's also part of America's broader push to prioritize North American and Asia-Pacific partnerships over old European ties. For thousands of British families who had already invested heavily in the American dream, buying homes, sending kids to school, setting up companies, the rug was pulled out with stunning speed. Suddenly, years of planning counted for little. Applications that would have sailed through in 2024 are now being delayed, interrogated, or flat out denied in 2025. The message from Washington couldn't be clearer. America is reshaping its future, and Britain is no longer guaranteed a seat at the table. For many Brits, the United States went overnight from land of opportunity to a closed, complicated fortress, and the shockwaves are only just beginning to be felt. Across the world, a quiet but undeniable shift is taking place. Countries that once welcomed British immigrants with open arms are now closing doors, raising barriers, and demanding more than just a familiar accent. For years, Britain's global standing made immigration easier. But in 2025, history alone isn't enough. The world has moved on, and it's making new rules. Some see it as justice, others see it as payback. Either way, for thousands of British citizens, the impact is deeply personal. Lost homes, cancelled dreams, opportunities slipping away faster than ever. And this may just be the beginning. More countries could follow. More borders could close. More lives could be uprooted overnight. So what do you think? Is this about fairness? Or is it diplomacy turning personal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We actually read them. And your views help shape our future videos.